Oh my God.
Smaller.
This is why you have rich friends.
So
people.
I had this story that my girlfriend reminded me of, and we were talking about it, that I want to say for the podcast. We got enough time for like 2 minutes. 3 minutes. All right. So y'all want to strap in for this one? This one's fucking creepy.
Yeah, I'll strap on. Wait, what
This is
ready?
it's a creepy story I'm gonna tell. I've never told anybody this. I told my girlfriend this once. So I was maybe like 11. My mom and my dad were sleeping in their room or whatever, and I was sleeping in my room. And
You've told me
sometimes my dad would like lock himself out. Like he'd go out for a cigarette or whatever, like in the middle of the night at like 2 a.m. and he would lock himself out in the backyard, and he would take like a big broom handle or whatever and like tap on my window so I could wake up and be like, oh, I'll let him in, whatever. So
Normal.
it was normal for me. So I wake up because I hear something just like tapping on the window. I'm like, what the fuck? So like I'm maybe 10, 11. Now, Cosmo was in the room, so I felt I felt safe and secure. Cosmo was a big boy.
Yeah,
R.I.P. bro.
Boy.
Honestly,
Did
best
he bark
dog.
when you heard
I
this?
love that.
No,
dog.
Cosmo was dead asleep. So I lift
Cosmo
up the
was
shades,
dope.
and I just see this dude just standing there.
Some
I
random dude.
I thought it was my father. It wasn't. My dad was still
Like
asleep.
standing in the backyard.
Standing, pitch black, standing like, okay, so my backyard, my backyard's like this or whatever, right? It's like this. We're not talking about this. We're talking about this. So
Where?
we're sitting there, and I'm laying in the bed, and then I just poke my head through the shades like a little bit, like, just like.
They can't see you, but you can see them.
Exactly. And I'm looking there, and the guy's just standing there like this, right? And he's just looking at my window. Can you believe how scared I was? So anyway, dude's looking in the window, right? I just let the shade down, and I'm like freaking out. I'm like, oh my God. So I pull Cosmo onto the bed, and I'm like, dude, you're my boy. Like, you gotta protect me. So I'm laying there, and then I'm like, 5 minutes go by maybe, and I lift up the shade again, and the dude's just pacing in my backyard at night at like 3 a.m. by himself. Who does that?
So you didn't like
Crackheads.
decide to like tell your parents?
Why? What are they gonna do? It was the next morning. I'm gonna be like, oh, Mom, Dad, by the way, last night this dude was just walking around our
you
backyard.
saw him
Pacing.
standing back there.
Go wake
5
him
minutes
up.
later, you still see him back there,
Well, no,
pacing back and forth.
Well, before he wasn't moving, and then he was. I was scared. I was like, okay, maybe
Okay,
it wasn't
but
10.
you're
I was
not-
probably younger. I was probably like 8, 9.
All right,
I
but
was,
like my first reaction was
Mom,
instantly be,
Dad,
Mom,
there's
Dad,
someone
yeah.
outside
No, I
trying to
was-
kill us.
I was just scared, bro. I was
Yeah.
just posted up in my bed, and I was like, my dog's here. I'm okay. So I was like sitting there, and then I just see him walking around, and then I see him like he's just walking around, and he stops, and he like does something with his foot or whatever, and then he just runs to the opposite fence like he was like runs.
Like he was doing like 40-yard dash type
Like
shit, like just back and forth.
sprints, and then grabs the top of the fence. Like, we've all hopped fences in our day. I mean, come on, we were crazy.
I mean, I'm black, so.
Yeah, so the dude runs up at the fence. That totally just killed it. He runs at the fence, and he just jumps over the fence. Not like one stride, but like he put his foot on the fence and then just yeeted himself over.
So he hopped into the next yard.
He hopped into that neighbor's yard right there.
So you see him in the backyard.
Well, no, he hit the yard. I could see my neighbor's yard from my window. I could see this neighbor, and that neighbor. So I see him in their yard, and he just walks out their gate, walks into the street. Never happened again. I mean, as far as I know. I mean, he could have been there, and I could have been sleeping, but like,
I gotta be real,
Never
Freddy.
cross your
Doesn't
mind to go
sound
tell
very
your
good.
parents to call the cops.
I gotta be real, Freddy.
what are they gonna do? Let's fingerprint their backyard. Let's see if he was touching certain blades of grass.
Or
But regardless, like
just get him out
call the
there.
cops so they can't. He's gonna leave.
I didn't tell anybody that. My parent, I've never
You
told my
told
mom.
me
I never
that.
told my dad. I guess I told you. I told
told me
Haley,
that.
but I never told anybody
You
else.
never told your mom.
Well, I mean, to tell her like now, be like, hey, Greggy. So like,
Yeah, let's get
I
a
don't
guest
know,
on the
like,
show.
11, 12
Greggy
years
Martinez.
ago. 11, 12 years ago, I was like, hey, Mom. So I was laying in bed, and this fucking freak was walking around our backyard like a goddamn animal.
So you didn't tell her there's
I
a
still don't
crackhead in your
understand why you
backyard.
didn't like knock
I
on
was
her
a
door
crackhead.
at that night.
Well, what it was is I was just like freaked out. I was like, what if this dude kicks down my door and kills me? I'm like, I'm just going to sit here under my blanket and then just go to sleep, and it'll be over. And then either I die in my
I'm
sleep.
very concerned for your survival skills.
My survival
So
skills
you
are
were- wait,
fucking
wait, wait.
mint right
you
now.
were
all
able
right?
to go back to sleep after that. I would have been up all night.
Well, not really, because I had Cosmo on my bed. I had Hedwig, Ralph. Not Ralph. Ralph wasn't there yet. We didn't have Ralph yet. So I was 3rd grade maybe. So, okay. So,
Okay.
yeah. Okay. So that confirms that I was way younger than I thought. But like, I
Survival
had
skills.
Cosmo, I had Hedwig, and I had, no, I just had Cosmo and Hedwig. But
Survival
I mean,
skills.
that's 200 pounds of fucking dog. What is he going to do? He's going to run in the house and get through 200 pounds of dog? No.
I mean, if he has a gun, it's pretty simple.
Yeah.
No.